IP, IP,
IP,
IP, IP,
IP,
IP,
IP,
IP. Welcome to IP series, home to all things IP related, where I give you the stories, tips, and implications to business and creative decision concerning your intangible assets with real life case study. I am your host, Rita Uchenna. Subscribe and turn on your notification so you don't miss an episode. Cheers, guys. Welcome back to IP series episode 105 as we explore what industrial design is and how it's different from other forms of intellectual property. We also look at the main types and categories of industrial designs in Nigeria, the benefits of industrial design protection in Nigeria. We're also going to, discuss how to resolve industrial design dispute, the legal framework, practice, And I have with me someone from the Industrial Design Registry who will be sharing her expertise and insight on what you need to know, the basis of industrial design rights in Nigeria. So let's welcome Lilian, our guest. Welcome to IPC. Can we meet you? What is your name? Where are you based? And what do you do?
Okay, basically, my name is Sisei Lilian Uchenna. I'm an IP lawyer. Okay, obviously, based in Abuja. I work with I work at Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investments in Abuja at the Commercial Law Department with the Patents and Designs Registry specifically.
Interesting. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so the concept and definition of industrial design rights in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, basically, design rights is an intellectual property rights, and you know that intellectual property rights are intellectual property rather, they are like creations of the minds. Things like inventions, books, articles, songs, symbols, designs, trade names, even confidential commercial information known as trade secrets. They're all intellectual property. So basically, in Nigeria, intellectual property is divided into two. We have copyrights, then we also have industrial property rights, which is made up of patents, trademarks, and design rights, industrial design or design rights. Now, design rights, are rights that are granted to owners of registered designs. You understand? It protects the ornamental outward appearance of a product that makes it commercially appealing or that gives it its commercial value. So in Nigeria, according to the Patent and Designs Act, designs are, like any combination of lines or colors or bolts or any three-dimensional form with or without colors, which is intended by the creator to be a model or pattern that can be multiplied by industrial process and is not solely intended to obtain a technical result. So basically, what this means is that designs are those lines, patterns, those colors, or even the shapes of a product. You understand that makes the product commercially appealing to consumers, makes them want to purchase the product. So these lines, patterns, and colors, shapes, those are the outward features of the product, and those are the things that are protected by industrial design rights in Nigeria.
My next question would be, what are the categories of industrial design as applicable or recognized in Nigeria?
Okay, in Nigeria now we have two categories of design, like what obtains in practice. We have textile designs and then non-textile designs. So textile designs are for fabrics, clothing materials, while non-textile designs are for shapes of objects, the form of a product, basically. So those are the categories in Nigeria.
Okay, okay. Wow, that was really insightful. What are the benefits of having an industrial design right being protected in Nigeria?
Mm. The benefits of registering your design or designs registration is that first it grants you exclusive rights to your designs, your creations. So this means that only you can commercially exploit your creation. Like no other person can utilize your creation, maybe importing it, exporting, selling, keeping it for sale. Nobody can do that without your consent. So that's what the exclusive right, and you also preclude others from doing it here. So that's what the exclusive right gives to you, and then your design registration also is like an evidence of ownership because once your registration is completed, you are given a certificate of designs registration, which shows that this design has been registered with the registry and also shows that it belongs to the name of the applicant in that certificate. So if there's any infringement action, you can always present it as an evidence of registration and ownership. And then it also design registration also prevents infringement in the sense that before the registration process itself is carried out, is done, you need to carry out a search to check if the proposed design is similar or identical to any existing registered design. So if there is in the records, obviously the proposed designs will not be registered. So that way it helps prevent infringement. And even if infringement occurs, you still have the right, based on the exclusive right that you're given to, initiate infringement actions against the infringer. And also, design registration also makes it possible for you to get returns on your investments, because you are the only person entitled to make use of it, to commercially exploit it, to get profits from it. Having expended so much time, efforts, ingenuity, and resources, financial resources to create the design, then the exclusive rights now makes it possible for you to, make profits, exploit your design and make profits, make return on what you have invested in creating the design, basically. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I like the fact that you mentioned two things that kind of stick out for me, which is search and
Yeah.
also infringement. So we know that within the Nigerian space, if you're looking at the fashion industry, there've been a lot of conversations or design rights,
Okay.
infringement. What would you advise a fashion designer or anyone in the manufacturing sector or anyone that has any product that falls within the basic requirement of getting a design right? How do they scale through all of this and the procedure for actually doing a proper design right, industrial design registration in Nigeria?
Basically, if for the fashion designers, the manufacturers, if you've come up with something unique, because the eligibility requirements are, it has to be new. The design has to be new, and then it must not be contrary to public order or not be offensive. So when you have a design that actually meets this eligibility criteria, it's much better for you before you go public. You understand? You come to the registry and register your design. You understand? You already have, like I had already mentioned the benefits of you doing that. It helps, if not to as in a very okay, if not completely, at least to a reasonable extent, it helps prevent infringement. So all these infringement cases of it's my design, I somebody else has taken my idea and registered it or done this, because actually, in Nigeria the law recognizes the first person to file. You understand?
Yeah.
Even if that person is not a true creator. So instead of leaving your work to chance like that, it's much better that you just, come to the registry and register your design. Yeah.
So how do you now go about registering your design? And is there like a limited term of protection for unregistered designs, just like we have in the UK, where you have uh, unregistered community design, things like that?
Okay, in Nigeria, basically, what we recognize are registered, the ones that are registered. You understand? Those
Okay.
are the ones that are legally recognized. So, how to go about it? Okay, like the process for you to register your design, if I get you right, you come to the
Yes.
into the registry with your design. You do a search. You understand? Now, you pay the prescribed search fee. The search is to check if your design is similar or is identical to anything that has already been registered in the registry. So if your design is not similar or identical to any existing registered designs, then you'd have to you make payments of the official registration fee. Then after that, you then prepare your application documents. Now, your application documents consist of the payment receipt, the application form. The application form contains the details of the applicant, the title of the design, the type of design, that's either it is textile or non-textile, and then also the details of your agent or your representative, especially for companies, you understand, that apply for designs. And then another other documents include your authorization form, which is the form that in which you tell the registry that you inform the registry that I am authorizing this person to act as my agent, this person to file this design application for me. And then you prepare your statement of novelty, telling the registry, it's a detailed description of the design, like you're telling us what is unique about your design, what makes it new and makes it stand out from other designs in the market. And then you also attach 4 copies of the pictorial representation of the design, so that we can also see your design, you understand. And then once you have prepared all these documents, you submit them at the registry. A formal examination will then be conducted to ascertain that all the required forms have been submitted, adequately filled and signed, and also that you have paid the prescribed registration fee. After which, if it passes the formality examination, the details of the application will be imputed into the system. An application number will be accorded to the application, and then a file will be opened manually for the application. Then afterwards, a further examination will be conducted, you understand, to determine if the design meets the eligibility criteria provided for by the Patents and Designs Act. That's the ones as to novelty and it's not being contrary to or morality, and it's not being offensive also. So if the design is also okay, if it scales through, then the examiner gives approval and an acceptance letter will be issued to the applicants. The acceptance letter, okay, first, sorry, you get an acknowledgement letter, you understand, after the details of the design have been imputed into the system, and the application has been given an application number. You get an acknowledgement form from the registry showing that the registry has received your application and is processing it, is working on it. So back to the acceptance stage. Once your design meets the whole and passes the whole examination, both the one as a formality and the one checking to see if it complies with the provisions of the act, then you'll be given an acceptance letter. Now the acceptance letter shows that we have accepted your design. Your design is actually okay to be registered, but you still need to present a physical sample now, you understand, of the design, which will be compared with what you have provided for the pictorial representation that you provided for. So both of the physical sample and also the pictorial representation will be checked to ensure that they are consistent, there are no inconsistencies, you understand, because sometimes the picture, what you have presented in the pictorial form, might differ from what you actually bring physically. So we need to reconcile both and be sure that it's actually the same design that is being registered. If that process is also fine, then you would now get your design, your certificate of design registration, duly endorsed and sealed, duly endorsed by the chief registrar of the Patents and Designs Registrar and sealed with the official seal of the registry. So that's all for design registration. Mm.
Wow, it's kind of similar to how you would do a trademark registration. I think the only difference would be the timeline. How long does this whole registration take?
Mm. Under normal circumstances, everything okay, like 6 weeks, 6 weeks to 2 months, everything should
Okay.
be ready. Yeah, but there's a difference between design registration and trademark, in the sense that, for trademark, once you get your acceptance letter, you need to wait for the mark to get published and
Yeah.
then pass the opposition stage before you can
Yeah.
now process your certificate. But for designs and registration, you understand, or just once you get your acceptance letter, you only need to present your your physical sample of the design, unless the chief registrar feels that there is any other reason why your design should not be certificate of registration. If not, you just get your certificate of registration. Yeah.
Wow. Good to know that the timeline for registration is shorter than that of trademark.
That's if there's no under normal circumstances without any issue, or maybe like you don't have KIVs, sorry, queries. We call it KIVs. You don't have queries. You understand anything else that could delay your registration?
That is good to hear. So, what would you say are like the legal framework that guides design or industry? I don't know why I keep saying design, right? I think because of India for me. But what are the
Yeah.
what are the legal framework when it comes to industrial design, right? I think I got it down. Industrial design, right? In
You can
Nigeria.
still call it design rights. Still fine. Okay, the legal framework, basically we have the Patent and Designs Act. That's the main, like the major legislation for that governs and regulates designs, registration, and everything about designs. Then we also have the designs rules. It's a subsidiary legislation that provides the forms, like what the forms, your application forms should look like, basically. Mm. Then if I may add, you asked me the duration of protection. Mm, the can I speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, you
the
can.
the duration of protection is 15 years. That's after registration or on registration, you get 5 years first. Then at the expiration of the 5 years, you have to renew for another 5 years. You pay your renewal fee. Then at the expiration of the second 5 years, you now get another 5 years. So total of 15 years, after which the design becomes public property, like it falls
I,
into the
I think
public domain.
I think amongst all the intellectual property that I know of, this is like this IP is the only one that is the shortest, and I wonder why the term of mention is so short. 15 years. I mean,
Just 15 years, yeah. Like
yeah.
maybe like compared to the other ones, yeah.
Mhm,
Hmm.
mhm. So, what would you say are like the available remedies in the event of an industrial design infringement for registered design and also for unregistered design if the scenario suits it?
Okay, like I said, for the unregistered designs now, we don't the Patent and Designs Act does not provide for unregistered designs. You understand? It only provides for registered designs. So the remedies provided by the act in the event of infringements with damages, they're just similar to what obtains in a civil matter for property rights. If the infringer, it's that can be maybe can be liable to pay damages. You can get restrict injunctions restricting further, preventing further infringement, and then you could accounts of profits whereby the infringer is made to account for like all the profits that the infringer made as a result of infringing using your design against without your permission. Then it can be those profits are awarded to the design rights owner. Yeah.
So, what are the regional and international framework for protecting an industrial design in Nigeria? Is it like a priority registration where someone who wants to protect their design in another jurisdiction can explore, or I mean, just give us an insight about that?
Okay. Okay. First of all, for designs protection, we have national protection, we have regional protection, and then we also have international protection. So, national protection, the protection is just within that country where the design is registered. You understand? Then for regional protection, the it's more or less like though you are registering, you want to use an application, one application to register your designs in the countries in a particular region. You understand? Like we have such regional IP offices or organizations. We have ARIPO, that's the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization for English speaking countries, African countries. And then you also have OAPI, which is the African Intellectual Property Organization for French speaking countries in Africa. So now these are intellectual property of regional intellectual property offices, and then a member, you can just with one application you designate other member states that you have interest in, you want to protect, you want to sell your designs in their markets, you understand? So you want the design to be protected in those countries. So with one single application you can designate those states and apply in those states, like together concurrently. So it also happens with the Hague system. The Hague system is more of is an international system of designs registration. It was established based on the Hague Agreement, and it is administered by the World Intellectual Property Organization (WIPO). So with one application, you can also register your design in the designated member states of the Hague Agreement that you have interest in their markets. So Nigeria, unfortunately, is not a member of the ARIPO or WAPI. Not and Nigeria is also not a member of the Hague system. You understand? So registration of designs for Nigeria is basically national protection. If you register in Nigeria, you are protected in Nigeria. If you have interest in other countries, you have to go to those countries to as in register your designs with their IPO offices, because design rights, just like other IP rights, they are territorial in nature. So now Nigeria recognizes the what we call convention countries. Nigeria is a member of the Paris Convention. So Nigeria recognizes applications, you understand, from those foreign countries. Applications, okay, that those foreign countries that are claiming priority of their earlier registration in their country. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So if you come to Nigeria to register and then you are like, oh, I have already registered in my country, that country is a convention country, and I want to claim that date, then fine, Nigeria recognizes that. But basically, it is still within the IPO office to decide if it will accept your design registration or if it will refuse your design registration. Because the fact that you registered it in your home country, it was approved in your home country, does not guarantee that you will still get approval in Nigeria. We would still apply our own laws, and then we'll still do our own formal examination, basically. Yeah. So it's okay, yeah, basically.
Wow, I mean, it's exciting to see or hear that Nigeria is not even, you know, the member state of any of these regional and international treaty. And it's also sad because it's also going to make um, the owners of this industrial design to spend more money, because the purpose of
Exactly.
it is to not spend so much. But
Mm-hmm.
let's hope that one day the narrative will change and
Yeah, we're hoping, we're really, really hoping that the narrative will
yeah.
change. Yeah.
So my next question is, when it comes to industrial design disputes, does the registry have like an internal or administrative mode for resolving this dispute, or do you just go straight to court, or do you explore like alternative dispute resolution mechanism, or is there even awareness on how to resolve disputes around industrial design?
Okay, yes, the registry does that. We actually have an ADR, an administrative panel rather, that offers ADR, you understand? Like, to disputing parties with respect to maybe a conflict in the designs registration. Maybe I registered my this design, and then you also registered a similar design, and it's not going to work. How do we, well, I want to go to court and all those kind of things. So we have an administrative panel where first of all you file your petition for the petitioner. The respondent is informed, he responds, they fix a date for hearing, they come as in at the hearing dates with their samples and other evidence that they intend to rely on to prove their case. And then once the registrar gives them as in fair hearing, yeah, gives both sides fair hearing, a ruling is given. And then most times we are able to settle the dispute out of court, like within the registry we're able to provide solution. But if any of the parties is not okay with the ruling, you can always appeal to the Federal High Court. But most times, more often than not, in fact, let me say 99.9% of the time, we are able to settle it internally, yeah, before the admin panel.
Is the accuracy for me 99.9?
Like most times, it's really, really very, very minute, very, very minute, like so slim. That's why I use the 99.9. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you guys will get to 100 if registry invest in PR and sensitization. Like, okay, don't go to court. Come here. We're gonna sort you guys. But it's really nice to hear. Yeah. So
Yes,
the
it's
the
much
people
better.
that sit on the panel, is it the registry members, or you have external?
And most
Um,
times it's done in house. The registrar presides, yeah, and then the
there's no
other
opportunity
lawyers.
for people like me. It's not fair. It's not fair. Okay then. So my next question would be, what are like the best practices or trends that the registry has incorporated, trying to make industrial design right easy, in line with ease of doing business in Nigeria. Um, yeah, basically, what are those
Basically,
best?
what has been incorporated is trying to go digital. You understand? Because the registration process that I explained to you is basically manual, in the sense that you come, you submit, we check, you get from one desk to the other and all that. So the registry is trying to digitalize everything, from the whole the registration process, trying to make it an online process. You understand, whereby you just file, you go online to the registry's website, you file online, you get your acknowledgements, your work is everything just happens on the system. You understand? And then maybe basically it's just for you to come and pick up your certificate, your documents, your certificate of registration rather. But we have not fully gone digital, like we're not fully automated, because even when you are able to file online, it stops at a particular level. You get in your acceptance letter, you understand? They will still need to create a manual file for you. You will still need to come with your physical sample. The certificate of registration is still processed manually. So we're on it. We're still working on it, trying to meet up with advanced countries to see that everything goes digital. Then the another area that the registry is trying to implement or work on is the search, because we do search manually. So like when someone comes for search, you have to check all the registers, flip through registers from way back, trying to check and be sure. You understand? So most times as human beings, it cannot be human beings tend to make mistakes, so there are errors, you understand. But the registry is trying to, it's making move to see how Nigeria can adopt the Locano classification for design, you understand, whereby design is classified, is divided based on the into classes based on the type of the and also the product. So you can just, impute, like, check, okay, we're looking, this particular design is, it falls within class one or class two, and then you just check it in that class and everything goes smoothly. You don't need to start going through tons and tons of register trying to do search. So those are basically the areas that we're trying to, improve on and see how we can meet up with our advanced counterparts. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So, but then I think one thing I wanted to ask before we round up is,
okay.
so for instance, you're doing a textile registration.
Okay.
Is there like a collection of all the textile? For instance, let's use fashion designers now. I
Okay.
have I think sometime in 2019, Diola
Mm-hmm.
Surge had registered her Ashoke collection
Okay.
called, what was it called? Now, I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
But then, she made a publication about to say, oh, my collection has now been registered and enjoys a design right protection in Nigeria, and there's no
Okay.
debate as to whether the Ashoke qualifies as a textile. So for textile registration for a fashion designer now, is it one textile registration that covers the whole fee, or a bundle, say 50 collections per registration or 20
Yeah.
collections
As long as
per
they are
registration?
different designs. As long as they
If
are
they're different
different
design,
designs.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's different design, that means the fee will
You,
be individual. But if it's the same
you are paying
design,
for each. You are paying the official fee for each, but it now depends on whoever is handling the work. Like, sometimes you feel, oh, you are giving me 50 briefs, 50 different designs. You understand? So if I, let's assume I take 50K for a design, do you understand? I could decide to reduce my professional fee for you because there is actually quite a lot of design, but you still pay the official fee for each of the designs
wow.
as long as they are different. Yeah.
So as long as the designs are different,
Yeah.
the fee is individual. But if it's the same design, it's just one fee.
Yes,
Does
exactly.
this
That's what
apply?
obtains in practice. That's what we do.
Does this apply to non-textiles as well?
Yes, even for non-textile, as long as the designs are different, you pay the official fee for each of the designs.
Interesting. See, lots of money for the registry. That's why if I get in 99.999,
You want me? Do you want me to? Do you want me? Do you want me to take that back because you are really?
no, I'm really very proud. The only thing I would say I don't like is the fact that if I excluding ADR practitioners and one
Okay, maybe I will throw that. Maybe I'll discuss with the chief registrar. Maybe I'll just let her know, like, ma, this is what,
I
and
please don't tell anybody to put my name first. I'm not that ask for it.
no worries.
um, as being an industrial design, right? You know, someone who has worked in that space, what has been your highlights? In the course of registration or examining a dispute, is there any registration or case, whether in Nigeria or international, that has really stuck out for you and said, okay, I think the registry, told this line is actually going to benefit us, and other than design rights, industrial design, is there any other intellectual property you're interested in other than industrial design?
Yeah, okay, like a geographical indication is an intellectual property right, right?
Yeah.
But we don't really do it in Nigeria because we don't have laws on GI. So that's another area of IP right that actually interests me, and I feel that is very beneficial for our country. Even if only our country can, exploit it, because GIs are all about, origin, authentic origin of goods. Do you understand? And those goods have qualities that are traceable to that region. So we have in Nigeria, like, the Nsuka yellow pepper that has now gotten international recognition, even though we don't still have the laws, the GI laws to protect these GI eligible GIs. What about the Ofada rice, Adire tie and dye? all these things can actually benefit our country in terms of intellectual property rights. But then we don't have it in Nigeria. But they're actually relevant stakeholders that are making efforts to see that Nigeria actually establishes either a special legislation for GIs, or Nigeria makes use of the trademark law system. But there will be so many amendments to the act, definitely, so that it can accommodate geographical indications. So that's basically another area that interests me. Hmm.
Interesting. So one other interesting thing is I'm also part of the team working on the GI
Oh, that's
document.
fine. Oh, that's cool. Hmm.
But you didn't answer the first part of my question. So
Okay,
what is
what was
that?
it?
The first part of the question was, see, I've even forgotten. What are those trends, or what has been the highlight of you being, working within the industrial design? Um,
It has actually exposed me to so many things, because before I joined the registry, I just thought law is all about the whole criminal thing, and you go to courts, you do the litigation, the whole law practice thing. But now I see that there is actually more to law in the form of intellectual property law. Like, I now see that, then that you have pampers, you also have angels, dappers. But I didn't understand. Do you understand? But working in IP, I get to see that, oh, there's a reason why this person is using a different trade name. This person is trying to distinguish or differentiate his own product from this other person that is making use of Pampers. And then I also I said, okay, oh, fine. It means that if I have an invention, I can actually, get a right for it and exploit it commercially to my own profit. Then what about the people like the design, people that create designs? It's not all about, oh, I have created a product and I can just sell it in the market. And no, it's way beyond that. You can actually assign it, you can license it. Like, it has exposed me to, wow, like, I find intellectual property law to be very, very, very interesting, and I really wish that they would do more about it in schools, like really include it in the curriculum in universities, and even also in law school, because it's like they say, like the 21st century oil or something. This is it. We have moved from the age of industrial property now. Like, we are now into intellectual property, and most of these advanced nations, you see that they are growing their economy through their intellectual property. So when you talk about big companies like, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and the rest, I think Nigeria needs to catch up. Like, we really, really need to focus on intellectual property laws. Like, that's just my own thoughts. Yeah.
wow, thank you so much. It's been a very insightful conversation with you. I've learned a lot. I'm going to deepen my knowledge in more in industrial design. So when I come to the registry and I submit my application, it will be the first one that I'll be taking. But thank you
Okay.
so much for spending your day with us on IP series. I hope you had a fantastic time with us as well.
Yes, I did. It was a very, very pleasant and fruitful discourse. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to join us.
Well, we have come to the end of today's episode of IP series. We've learned a lot about industrial design and intellectual property in Nigeria, such as the concept and definition, the legal framework and practice, the regional and international context of industrial design protection in Nigeria. We have also heard from our special guest, Lilian, who has shared her experience, insights, highlights working at the Industrial Design Registry. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it informative and inspiring. I would like to thank our guest, Lilian, for joining us today and sharing her knowledge. I would like to thank our listeners, all my IP friends. You guys are the best. Thank you for tuning in and supporting IP Series Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to contact us via our email at ipseriesinfo@gmail.com. We're on social media. Instagram is at ipseries_with_Esmeraldo ESQ, and then we're on Twitter at IPSeries1. Or you can send me a personal DM on my personal page if you know it. So just type my name, Rita Uchenna, and you see all my social media handle at Esmeralda ASQ on Instagram and Twitter, and my full name on LinkedIn. And would like to hear from you and learn from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a rating or a review on any of the platform you're currently listening to me right now. It really helps us grow and reach more people. And stay tuned, keep creating, keep innovating. This is Rita Uchenna signing off from IP Series Podcast. Do have a great day and see you in the next episode. Cheers, guys.